'Tis the season to be jolly, la 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 la. Oh well, shit, never mind.
As I'm trying to do a trigger warning, a caution, and you are singing Christmas carols, proceed with caution, Mariah Carey. Everybody stream that. Warning, this episode contains sounds and depictions of violence, including guns. So if that is something that is triggering to you, or if you've had a bad experience with that, we're just letting you know ahead. You might want to skip this one. You might want to tune out. I can't give you the exact timestamps because we're recording it now, but just giving you a warning.
Hi, my name is Ari.
And my name is Dante.
And this is PenPop.
How are you today?
Anyways, I'm feeling pink. A little rosacea moment.
Very sugar plum. Dancing in your head moment.
Flamingo. I almost spilled my coffee all over me. Because you said a bit, you were like, I don't want you to spill it, and there it goes. I spilled it.
Well, this is karma for you being late.
Okay, now what I do, I need to get a
Me and karma vibe like that. Oh, you spilled it?
Like I spilled it. Like I don't know how to show you.
That.
Literally still. Please introduce the fucking episode.
I'll talk about how I am today. I'm great, guys. I've been working. We decorated behind already. Just gearing up for the holidays, trying to get as much work done as I can. I went to the dentist. Actually a hygienist around the corner, and we were talking about tongue scrapers. It was really a great bonding moment. And I was telling her, like, this is the time of year where I get my shit together. But anyways, today we are starting off with the song that we know will not be performed at the Super Bowl, but we were hoping it was. Now that we've listened to it and got familiarized with it, we're excited for Reed to take on the Super Bowl. And we're going to be diving into Russian Roulette by Rihanna. P-E-N-P-O-V.
Before we get into the lyrics, we want to get into the history behind Russian Roulette. And as you know, the previous episode, we did the same, talking about the triggers. This subject might be difficult for some of you to handle. So please be advised, if you do not feel safe with this type of word of language, make sure to, I don't want to say skip to anything, because maybe just turn it off, come back next episode. But I mean, if you want to watch it to sense of speed, I'm not going to judge you for that.
And put the volume low. We need the streams. That's a good idea.
Thank you. So just like keep it like very low and like 2 times. It's very sensitive. I'm so sorry, but it's okay. You can come back next time. Okay. Next week. But anyways, yes. Today we want to talk about the controversy, the music video, our personal anecdotes. Do you remember anything specifically about Russian Roulette? So I've never listened to Mothers, prior to this episode, knowing aware that we're going to do this episode. Okay. I have never listened to her. I know judging is, you can judge me all you want. That's okay.
He knows the hits. He knows the hits.
No, I mean, I know all the albums. I know all the songs. Nonetheless, I never got into this one. It's a deep cut. I mean, despite being a single,
it was the lead single.
I know it's the lead, but it's just, it didn't. Anyways, I'm not judging, but I really want to say that I'm obsessed with the Mothers of the early 2000s. Like the way they were telling stories. I mean, I wrote it down in my notes here. Mm-hmm. No one in the artists right now are doing the shit that the bitches in the early 2000s were doing. They were really giving stories. And the last episode with Gaga, like who was writing stories like this? Nobody in the time. Well, now
painting a picture.
Even now they write something like that at the level they think they're doing it is not at this of a level. You know what I'm saying? This song is very special because also, as I was reading and we were doing the research, finding out about the mental health aspect of it. Gaga was talking about the whole religious thing, but this is like a very crisis, especially very relatable today with mental health, that problem, right? Like we're having right now. So you can see how, even though it was from the early 2000s, it's still relatable now, even better, even stronger, because I think this might be a trigger. If you please need help, we're going to put helplines you can reach out to. We're here. Text us, email us, whatever you need. DM. We're here to help you. I need to make that, to say that.
We're down to talk anytime. If you want to just get your mind off, we can talk about Rihanna all you want.
Absolutely. Whatever you want. Listen, we're pop culture connoisseurs. So anything related to you just text, DM us, do whatever. We love it.
I really agree with your point. Like people don't. Yes, I think songwriting is still very strong. Like we have people like Taylor and SZA where they tell a story in their songs. But I feel like the art of a music video where you paint a story like Gaga, like Rihanna, like Katie, where you're stepping into a world, you're stepping into a character. I feel like that is
right.
I feel like right now we're in this like we're at this point where music videos aren't necessarily like the most important thing anymore. So everybody's kind of just doing whatever, or I mean, obviously we have people like Beyonce, but even we don't even have the visuals to Renaissance yet. So
Exactly.
we can see that there's not an emphasis on that anymore. And I don't think people are creating worlds like those 2000s people did.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Why are we not getting music videos anymore? No, not necessarily related to Beyonce. More like everyone in general.
I think it's a couple different things. I think it's like we have TikTok now, so it's like we already have the video in that sense. We have people dancing. It's more raw, it's more vulnerable, it's more authentic. I also think the budget is just gone. What I've noticed and what we always talk about is when we watch a new music video, we're like, okay, we're really excited to see this. And then we're always very disappointed because it's mostly green screens. And like if you go back to, I would say like early 2090s, like I love when they used to actually build the sets because they didn't have the technology to create everything. I think it's great with the technology now, but I think sometimes you lose the essence of the music video and it looks more like a video game. It looks cheap, but I understand that now everything's inflated, like wood costs so much now. So to build a set, it's a lot of money.
Maybe, but I feel like also, I think we don't have the attention span maybe as well
that too.
Watch a whole video. No, like I feel like we're not getting this profound of even with the lyrics, we're not getting this profound of a meaning. It's all about like sex, makeup, breakup, and divorce, and all these things that yes, maybe they're important to talk about, but real issues that we're all facing. Bankruptcy. How about somebody filing for bankruptcy? I've never heard a song about nobody filing for bankruptcy, and I know a lot of bitches that do.
Ooh.
How about we just be real? And nobody's willing to get real. Everybody's like, oh, I got the fame, I got the money, I got the bitches. No, you don't, babes. Because you go home and you're depressed as hell. And that's what Rihanna was talking about here.
Yeah, and that's why people like SZA and Taylor, they stand out because they talk about those very specific memories or those like different stories or different point of views. But I think every decade has like you have your commercial music that's kind of meaningless and you have your really deep art.
I agree. Like that's
especially now with TikTok, like the labels are really pushing for that quick hit. So
quick hit. That's why.
But there will always be those artists that are above everybody. Back to Rihanna.
Sorry. What do you remember?
With her. I grew up with her. I know the hits. I didn't get into the deep cuts until like 2012, 2013 because I was still too young to know anything outside the singles, and I didn't think to ask my parents to buy her CDs. Like I don't know. I was in a weird phase, but like everything was about iPod, iTunes, but I still like didn't want to pay like $1 for every song. So like I kind of just like listened to the radio and whatever CDs we had. But once I finally did my deep dive, I got into some rated R deep cuts like Te Amo, Rockstar, Madhouse, and the singles like Hard, Rude Boy, etc. But I didn't even know Russian Roulette was the lead single. I didn't know much about it because I never really took a deep listen. I didn't look at the rollout, whatever. Rude Boy kind of became the definitive hit off this album, I think. So I was surprised at the stark difference between this album. It's so dark from personal trauma and healing. But I just love when Rihanna taps into that traditional edgy rock aesthetic with her twist on it. The editorial fashion from this era is everything. So we need to get into the history, but go look at like all the Italian magazines she did this year. Really amazing, like editorial shots. Amazing.
By the way, I really loved when we were doing the research. She said it's not an angry album, it's a meaningful album. And I really like that because she's saying I'm not, she was saying before she was doing more upbeat songs and more, what they wanted her to say. But this thing she's saying, no, it's not about just being angry or being, doing that hit. It's like I'm talking my shit. I'm talking real stuff. And that's it goes
she
right
could
into
have gave us Good Girl Gone Bad again.
But
what I love is that she took that risk, and we're going to talk about this later, to drop this as the lead single. But let's get into the history.
Russian Roulette was the record for Rihanna's fourth studio album, rated R 2009.
Did Rihanna survive the fourth album curse? That's another episode we need to discuss because I've got some things to get off my chest.
On October 14, 2009, a metallic R, along with a message saying, "The wait is over," was placed on Rihanna's official website with a countdown. The song premiered on the radio on October 20th, 2009 and served as the lead single from the October 26, 2009 by the Def Jam recordings. The song was written and produced by Neo and Chuck Harmony. Russian Roulette is a pop and R&B ballad that contains a dark composition. The single is about the abusive romantic relationship that ended abruptly. The song music video was shot by director Anthony Mandler and a frequent collaborator of Rihanna.
Music critics really praised the song for Rhee's vocal performance and lyrical content. Many noted that the theme of the song could be potentially about her domestic dispute with he who must not be named. In an interview with MTV News, Harmony said that no matter what song Rihanna released as a lead single from the album, it would be looked as a song about him. So, like, if she released Rude Boy, they would probably draw comparison to him. If she released Russian Roulette, Hard, whatever.
Two critics that we would like to point out are Pitchfork Media Ryan Dambal concluded that the single is a bad Celine Dion song.
They're so wrong for that.
Sorry, I forgot I wrote this. It's a bad Celine Dion song, but with barrel turning or revolver noises that actually sound like a can of spray paint being shook up.
Pitchfork is just so harsh all the time.
Damn.
Also, Chris Richard of the Washington Post wrote that the song has a plotting beat and a forgettable hook, with additionally criticizing the ending of the song with the sound of a gunshot. According to him, that's an attempt to salvage its wasted potential. I agreed with that one because she has a gun sound go off at the end of the music video, but not the song. But I don't think the hook is forgettable because it's a very unique arrangement.
Russian Roulette sold 132,000 copies in the first week, number 9 in the Hot 100s, and number 1 on the Hot Dance Club chart. It became Rihanna's 12th top 10 single on the chart and made her the female artist of the 2000s decade, with the second most top 10 song, only behind Beyonce. It was certified 2 times platinum by Recording Industry Associates America, RIAA, donating the sales of over 2 million digital copies in US alone.
It also peaked at number 9 on the Canadian Hot 100, number 9 on the New Zealand chart, number 7 on the ARIA Australia chart, number 2 on the UK singles chart, number 1 on the UK R&B chart. It was also number 1 in Norway, Slovakia, and Switzerland, as well as the top 5 in Austria, Belgium, Finland, France, Germany, Hungary, Ireland, Scotland, and Sweden, and the top 10 in Denmark, Italy, and Spain.
Another tidbit of information that we found that it was actually legendary, in my opinion, I know you do too, is that George Michael performed the cover of Russian Roulette during the Symphonica tour in 2011 to 2012, which is sickening.
Legends on legends. Okay, so now that we got into the history, we will be back after this short message.
Hey guys, we're stopping our very own podcast from our own fake ad until we get sponsorships, okay?
We love manifesting. Make sure to follow us on whatever social media you're on at PenPop Podcast for new episodes, because why would you miss them?
You can also message us your thoughts for future episodes, or just talk about music, anything in general. And again, relating back to this episode, any concerns you might have regarding anything. You can reach us at Dante X Tito and R Dominguez Official.
And if you like what you're hearing so far, don't forget to leave us a rating or review from wherever you're listening to this podcast.
And now, back to PenPop.
I'm in my pen.
It's time to get your pens out.
Let's start with our first thoughts on what Rihanna said. Take a breath.
Take a breath. Take a deep.
Okay, it's like something's happening. We gotta take a breath.
Breathing, yeah. Take a breath. Also, breathing and mindfulness exactly. It's relaxation. Is like, okay, tune into what I'm gonna say to you right now. She's saying, listen, take a breath, calm down, be aware of the moment, take in what I'm saying really deep.
But moving even on. Like for herself, like, I gotta take a breath before I get into this because I'm nervous. Yeah.
Or us, the listeners.
Yeah. Calm yourself, he says to me.
Calm yourself. So it's like kind of like saying, girl, sit down.
Maybe because she's holding the gun already. And he's like, whoa, like, calm down, put the gun down.
Or he says to her all the time, calm down, you're so dramatic, you're so over, like, I'm not cheating, or, you know, I'm not doing anything. Calm down.
Right. Like, calm down, you're overthinking it.
Yeah,
he's
you're
gaslighting her.
Gaslighting. There we go. If you play, you play for keeps. So basically saying, you want to play this game, be able to back it up.
You want to fuck around? I got a gun.
Exactly.
I'm strapped. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Take a gun and count to 3.
Yeah, so I think here she's like, now we know it's about, like, the game Russian Roulette. Like, I don't know how roulette works. I just know the song Roulette and Russian Roulette. But I'm pretty sure it's like a casino game. There's the roulette wheel.
I'm pretty sure.
And I think you, like, I don't know if it's like it's the losing number or the winning number, but it's like if they don't get the number right, then they have to, like, kill themselves or something, or you have to shoot the gun or whatever.
No, it's like they do the little thingies on the holes, right? They clap it back in, and whatever, and you have to point it to your head. I know, we should not.
Oh, right, yeah. You're betting, like, whether it's the one with the bullet or not. That's right.
The roulette. But the other roulette that you play in the casinos, I think that's just if you get the number, you win. No, isn't like the one like the ball?
Yeah, you bet on a number, and if the ball lands on the number, you win.
Yeah.
Okay.
So take the gun and count to 3. So count to 3. Be like,
like 1, 2,
3.
And you see what happens on 3.
I'm sweating now. I'm moving slow.
Because it's nerve-wracking when you're
holding a gun.
You're sweating. My palms are already sweaty. And we're not even holding it. We're doing a podcast.
Yeah. It's very much dark lyrics, but the double entendre again. Mm-hmm. Important, meaningful. Like this reaction we're having, people don't talk enough about suicide, and we need to be aware of it. As someone who is in a mental health course,
I thought you were going to say mental health crisis. I was going to be like, me too.
No,
but that as well.
Yeah. Well, we all have crisis, but it's like mental health should be taught like to be like CPR. It should be like something we should all be identifying, like queuing for those triggers for suicide and stuff like that. So her saying count to 3, take the gun, count to 3. I'm sweating now. I'm moving slow. It's like, I don't want to do this, but you're making me like I don't want to do it. I'm shaking inside. I'm hesitating about it.
Could we also say like counting to 3, moving slow? That could be also seen as like a grounding technique.
Also, yeah, it could be, but 3, third time's the charm.
Right.
So like I'm leading up to it. This is my third. I don't know.
Okay.
So count to 3. Just
like I'm gonna try again. Okay.
Yeah, could be
and
third
you
time.
can see my heart beating.
You can see it through my chest and terrified, but I'm not. Yeah. Anyways, sorry.
So it's really good, like world building, very like building up the momentum of what's happening. Like it's like you're reading like one of those like Hunger Games or Divergent books, and they're talking about like Katniss is about to shoot the arrow. It's like, how does she feel? She's sweating. She's nervous. She's focusing on the target. But I like how she like when she says like, and you can see my heart, like she delays it. Whereas like, you know what I mean? Like even like you would think this is like a high situation where things are moving very fast, but for her it's like in slow motion. And the song, the sound of it, it's very slow. It's
and in melodic, the video,
it's demure.
And the video is actually everything is actually very slow.
Yeah. And
do you think is it maybe that the thing to everything while that's happening? I mean, I've never been in a situation, but maybe everything moves slow. It's like kind of like
when you hear someone talk about a traumatic experience, they're talking about everything stopped and I saw my life flash before my eyes.
Exactly. So this is why it relates back to that. You're right. You can see my heart that stopped there. Beating. Also part like that fast moment, like beating. Anyways.
Yeah.
You can see it through my chest. I feel like that's like also her saying, I love you. Could be back to this guy whom we don't speak of. She's saying, I loved you. I love you very much. Because, you know, in movies, when you like the heartbeat, you show, you know, the characters, like the heart jumps out. Kind of saying like, I'm really in love. I really show you that kind of cookie cutter love, but we're not going to work, is it?
Or even like it reminds me of that phrase where it's like, you wear your heart on your sleeve. Like she's very empathetic, but you know, now it's getting messy. But yes, she stays. Because she said, I'm terrified, but I'm not leaving.
And that's the thing about abuse, you know. Some people stay because it's that, you know, they might feel they love that person. They really, you know, feel that connection with that person, but they're unable to move on from that situation. So I'm terrified. I'm literally risking my life every day, but I'm not leaving. Maybe something we can work through. Okay, in this case, it was not. Then she goes, I know that I must pass this test. Yes. What do you think she mean by that?
I think it's multiple things. I think it's like the Russian roulette test, because like the test of, is there a bullet in here or not? So we got to pass that test because we got to live.
True.
And then maybe the test of the relationship. The relationship is being tested.
But this fight, this discussion, this, I don't know, abuse in a way, or
all the trauma.
Discord.
Like, are we going to continue or are we going to leave?
Exactly. So we must pass this test. What are we going to do? Okay. So just pull the trigger. Trigger.
Do you see how she does it 3 times? Like in Umbrella. Ella, Ella, Same thing. Vocables to make it sound catchy. So you remember it. Earworm. And
so
also,
just pull the trigger. Maybe it could just be for her to be like, what are we going to do? Because she said, I must pass this test, right?
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? Are we going to do it? Are we going to pull the trigger. Just do it. What are we gonna?
But
What are we
it's
gonna
almost
do?
like an emphasis on like what's happening, like trigger, and it's like as she's saying trigger, like she's moving her hands slowly to pull the trigger.
Right.
I don't know.
And it's that maybe it's that move. Yeah, that little movement of slowly moving towards what are we gonna do? Resolving the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Say a
Say
prayer.
a prayer
to yourself. Say a prayer to yourself. What do you do when you say a prayer to yourself?
You're hoping for something to work out. Like you better hope and pray that this works out, that we see it through, that there's no bullet in the gun.
That you're not actually, take your time. So he says, close your eyes. Sometimes it helps. Ooh, that was deep. Maybe
now we're like kind of talking about like a shooting range or target practice. When people go, like I've seen like in a bunch of movies, obviously, I don't own a gun, nor will I ever.
We're Canadians, people. We're not allowed to own guns.
Well, I didn't want to say that, but when you're at the shooting range, like often when like you're first shooting the gun for the first time, you're very scared. You got to go through a lot of training. You go through a course, then you finally get to the shooting range where you can practice. And you got the headphones and the glasses or whatever, and you're like, okay. And usually the instructor, like, well, I mean, really, you shouldn't close your eyes because you need to see where you're shooting. But if you're worried about like the sound and also sometimes the gun, like it's a powerful thing, so it pushes you back from the power of the bullet firing. So he's like, if you close your eyes, maybe you'll be less scared to just go ahead and shoot the gun.
But also could just, I think, because she has it to her head. This is very triggering language. I am so sorry, everybody.
Well, that's why we put a trigger warning in the beginning.
Yeah. Like, if you have this, you close your eyes, zen in on yourself, right? I think you're less likely, because if you have your eyes open, you see all that you have to lose.
You're worried about what's going on.
You just let yourself be here, then you can probably build the courage to do it.
But then I get a scary thought. So as she closes her eyes, it's even worse because her inner demons come out.
Exactly. It's her saying, maybe she's saying, are you doing this because you really love this man? Or are you doing this because you're afraid to leave and be by yourself and be vulnerable and be scared by yourself?
And also, should I pull the trigger? Should I
do it?
Should I shoot him? Should I shoot me? What should I do?
Go.
That he's here means he's never lost. Oh, okay. Now that changes things up a little bit. Okay, I get a scary thought that he's here means he's never lost. So maybe because it's an abusive relationship, I get a scary thought that he's here. You're fearing him harming you, but it means he's never lost. That's throwing me off.
Yeah. Okay, that he's here. Who's here?
I don't know. The Holy Ghost? The Spirit?
Like him? The person?
He says, close your eyes. Sometimes it helps. And then I get a scary thought that he's here. See, that's why I think it's like maybe an instructor is someone else. The instructor is saying like, close your eyes. Sometimes it helps. And she closes her eyes and she starts thinking about her ex-lover. And then she's scared. It means he's never lost, because when you go through a harmful relationship, a harmful experience, something traumatic, that you to a degree, you get over it, but it's always with you within, and it can resurface the emotions going back to that time. So what happened, that experience will forever change you. That's trauma.
She threw me for a loop here because I have no idea what she's saying.
That's how I interpret it.
I think she's saying that he's here and that he's never lost. Maybe saying like, if I pull the trigger, he never lost. He still won.
Right. That's
like he still got his way at the end of the relationship or whatever.
And you can see my heart.
Because he was the one that told me to get the gun or to start. Let's play the game Russian roulette. Right. So he's here. That's the part I don't know. He's here. He's never lost.
Yeah. And then we go into the chorus again, and you can see my heart beating. Now you can see it through my chest, and I'm terrified. But I'm not leaving. I know that I must pass the test. So just pull the trigger. But notice how this time she doesn't do the vocables. It's just pull the trigger. That's it.
As my life flashes before my eyes. Again, back
like
to
I was
that.
saying before.
Yeah. I'm wondering, will I ever see another sunrise?
And that's multiple.
What do sunrise usually stand for? What is it like a significant meaning behind it?
To see the next day, to live.
To be here.
Hope, it's light, it's love. Will I ever live my life? Will I ever see the next day if I pull this gun? Will I make it through this relationship? Will this relationship see the light of day? The hurt and the pain, and move on and be happy.
To be happy. So many won't get the chance to say goodbye. True. Your mom, I don't remember who told me this, but suicide usually is like this cataclysmic bomb that just goes off and everybody around them is affected. And it's true. Like that person doesn't get to say goodbye. Your mom, your family, your friends, that's it. Once you decide to do that, those people don't get to see you anymore or hear you. So it's very deep.
Yeah, or even I'm just thinking back to like the music video. She's kind of like in this remote location. So had she died there, had she shot herself,
right?
And nobody knows where she is. Nobody knows where her body is.
But also in isolation, she could be. That's that because you're saying she's in a deserted place. That isolation of saying what I'm going through with this lover, nobody knows. Nobody's aware of what I'm going through, and then they question, why did she kill herself? Well, girl, I was going through something. Nobody noticed.
And people don't announce that, hey, I'm going to do this next week. Like, it just happens. They just decide.
Suicide rarely happens.
Well, it depends.
Without warning. But
that's what I'm saying. It happens without warning. They're not going to alert everybody, hey, guys, like, I'm doing it next Saturday. So nobody gets the chance to say a proper goodbye, like you were saying before.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying, back to that thing that suicide needs to be trained. People need to be trained like CPR, because there is some warning signs. People do give clues, and we need to detect these clues so that we're like,
yes,
oh my God.
But sometimes you never know what somebody's going through. They present a front.
And I said sometimes people don't give any clues. So yeah, but it's too late to think of the value of my life. She's fed up. I think she's fed up. I don't care. There's no value. This is what I'm going through, and I don't see a tomorrow.
Yeah,
I don't see a way through.
The point of living, yeah. But also, like, once you're at this point and the person's on 3 or 2, it's too late to think about what's going to happen next. It's too late to take precaution, because once you're here, you're here. And there's no going back once you pull that trigger.
Pull the trigger warning.
And we go into the chorus again.
And I'm terrified, but I'm not leaving, no.
Yeah, this time she's a little emphasis. But I'm not leaving, no! And that reminds me of He Wasn't Man Enough by Toni Braxton, where she's like, but you married him! But you married him! You know, we should drive the point home.
Yeah. You're saying, I'm not leaving. Could she also be saying that I'm not leaving, I'm not gonna die? Her saying, like, I am not gonna kill myself. If you want to do it, you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to pull the trigger.
You're going to go down. I'm going to rise up.
Exactly. You're going to have to tear me down.
Lift me up.
Yeah. Exactly. You see, the way she thinks.
The full circle moment of Russian roulette to lift me up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. And then we end with, so just pull the trigger. And everybody expects a shot. And that's why I get what the critics were saying before. But if she did it, it would be too predictable. It would be too cliche.
But we're missing the point. She's not the one pulling the trigger. It's him.
I thought Russian roulette, you hold it yourself.
Well, it could be the person themselves, but it could be the other person. She's saying, because remember, she's saying, but I'm terrified, I'm not leaving.
Right.
You want to end this? You're going to have to do it. So do it. So there's no gunshot because she didn't do it.
But with that context, when she says, I know I must pass the test, maybe she's saying, like, she's in a situation where he's got the gun. And she's like, I need to pass the test of manipulating him for me to get an exit so I don't die. So I can see the next day. And
then back to that, but it's too late to think of the value of my life. Meaning, I can't think about it right now. This is the situation I'm in. I can't even fathom getting out of this moment.
Yeah, you're just survival, fight or flight mode is on. But back to the trigger. What's interesting is we do a lot of research before this. So we watch performances and both interviews. And so what you see in a lot of the performances is that some performances, she does the gunshot at the end. Sometimes she doesn't. And I think she does that on purpose.
Yeah, the Russian roulette. Because you don't know. Get it. Sometimes you're not going to get it.
And it leaves everybody on the edge to see, is she going to do it?
Yeah.
No.
And that's sick. Listen.
It's
Who
like
is
it's like
doing
teasing.
this?
It's like teasing.
Exactly. But I was gonna say during this performance, I noticed her voice was very much deep.
Which one?
Like
all of them.
performance
Yeah,
of Russian Roulette.
yeah. She
Like,
was using her lower register.
she was using strong, she was using power. And I'm not saying Rihanna's not a power singer. I'm saying like the way she was singing those performances, you can tell there was a deep meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Like she was growling at those lyrics. And I loved
Absolutely.
it. Every minute
I
of it.
love a growl. I love
Yeah.
a strain. I love a raspy moment.
Oh yeah, and I loved her little side swoop. Remember her whole era about
Yeah.
the side swoop?
Okay, now let's get into
That's
like
my
the
favorite.
music video and everything. Okay.
What was the
Yeah.
music video?
Her hair during this like era.
Jesse William, what's his name? Jesse Williams? You know
that?
exactly what I'm talking about. That's the one in
do
the
you mean?
video. Isn't that's him? Jesse Williams?
Right. Yes.
It's him. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with the hair. Like, I love this. This was like it was like foreshadowing to the unapologetic era where she like shaved the side of her head and she had like the pixie thing going on. It was like the blonde, not super blonde, but it was like almost ginger. It was like the caramel strawberry blonde, I guess you would categorize it as that.
The different styles she would do of it.
Yeah.
too.
Like,
She wasn't just keeping one.
it was very like edgy. Look at me. I'm not like other girls. I'm in my like edgy rock, punk, new wave like moment. It was like very 80s, but it was also like punk rock because she had like the shoulder pads and the spikes and the really like dramatic eye makeup. But if you notice, like in all the performances and promotional appearances, she's kind of wearing like neutral colors, like brown, nude, black.
Yeah, she wasn't wearing like something
white. Like you think edgy, like say wearing you think she'd be wearing like loud colors. Speaking of loud, like red, pink.
No.
I don't know, like loud colors.
because I think she was trying to get like, it's a very serious topic to talk about. So
Yeah,
she was
it's
like,
conservative.
I need to be respectful. Yeah. And she said it's a serious emotional record. It's an emotional, sorry, what did she say? It was an meaningful album. And it was.
Yes.
Rated R is,
Okay.
I think, the one she's talking about the most. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Let's get into the music video. So I'll just give you a little bit of a synopsis and then we'll talk about our notes. So she's seen lying on the floor, scratch marks on the wall, kind of like, I don't know if it's like a institution or like a jail. I don't know what's going on. But there's also an investigation room. There's 2 cops in the investigative room.
Yeah.
And it cuts to Rihanna and a man in a room facing each other, Jesse Williams,
Mhm.
and the gun in the middle of the table. And then there's kind of like a montage of blood. You see some tigers in there, violence, etc.
Mhm.
Then I love this part where she's wearing that hood in the sweat material. I think very like Skims cozy. And with the nude bralette and the blonde swoop. And they plug in a USB and the music starts. And I see where they get the spray can painting from. It does sound like a little bit like that. But obviously with the name of the song, it's obviously a gun.
Yeah.
I wrote on my notes, face card is on.
Mm-hmm. Never did call, my God.
I just love that hood moment. Like the hooded sweat thing, whatever it is. I love
That
it.
did it for you, didn't it?
Yeah, like I don't know why. It was very edgy. Like I don't know. I just love like the fashion from this era. It's very ahead of its time. Reminds me of like Kylie Minogue, a little bit of Gaga poker face. Yeah. So then she's sitting in the same room, dark, in another nude ensemble with a spotlight on her, and she's bleeding. And then she's in a car. Sorry, she's in a field with a car facing her with the headlights on.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's in a light army green cape leotard thing with the signature shoulder pads. And then the car hits her in the water and she's getting shot. And then it fades to black.
But I think that's just back referencing, if you're going to kill me, you're going to have to do it yourself. I'm not doing it myself. And
But
it's
isn't it interesting? Yeah, it's interesting how like it's about Russian roulette, but then she brings in the car at the end.
Is it roulette how we're going to die? Like, how do we...
I guess.
I have no idea. I don't know. I really don't have any thoughts on that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I do, the water getting shot is like her drowning in her despair, her helpless. Like, how do I get out of this? And yet, maybe shot in it. Maybe that. How do I swim out of the bullets?
Yeah, I get. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, my favorite thing on her interviews.
Okay. Now we're getting into like the interviews, performances moment.
She is a Celine girl. Listen. And if you know me,
I took notes on that. Where is it?
Yeah. She's a Celine girl. She's to Mariah, Whitney, Shania, Celine.
They asked her like, who do you listen to? Like, who are your inspirations? And she said Mariah, Celine, Whitney, and Shania.
That's what she would listen to, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And I also have my notes. She is 2020. She's 22 here and made me realize how miserable my life. It's not miserable.
Hey, it's not Rihanna level.
It's just when you think about how young she is and the maturity of the art that she's putting out, it's just amazing.
The depth of she was writing to, like the pen was popping. Okay,
absolutely,
she was in her bag. Anyways, but also, can we look? I want to talk about how it shows that this song showed the evolution of Rihanna, right? You know,
yes,
what she went through, whatever relationship was with someone, and now she's more of a person that goes through the relationship just like you and I. Like she has a baby, she has a husband. No, they're not married yet. No.
I don't know.
Are they married? I don't know. Maybe they got married without us knowing.
I think they're engaged. I don't know.
Whatever.
But they're together.
Her and ASAP. No, ASAP. Is that ASAP?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it's the wrong name and I was kind of disappointed in myself. But yeah, like the evolution of her, like maybe she was in this pattern of thinking and now look how she didn't pull the trigger because she didn't in the video.
Yeah. In
the video or the lyrics, she didn't pull the trigger. She survived and she became the Rihanna she is now.
Yeah.
So it kind of like shows into that. I don't know. I just thought it was cool to see how much of she has grown throughout the years and the records.
And again, she was very intelligent in these interviews. A lot of these radio interviews we were listening to, they're very sexist. And she, like Madonna, she takes control of the interview and kind of turns it on them. She's highly intelligent, knows how to deflect very smartly, but also like very raw and real. Like she's going to tell you what she means by this. She's not going to deflect and confront the answer.
Is that she's fucking smart because she's a billionaire. Okay, so
I know, but I'm saying like it's amazing, like how much she already accomplished, and she was just a teenager. And
I agree. Like, I think
she's crazy.
Teenagers go through that, hardships as well, but and they take it more personal than I think when you're older. In a way,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's like a teenage rebellion phase, but like with the budget, which I love. We love budget.
Budget was.
Can we talk about the sets? That's what I want to talk about. And all the performances, I like all the sets. It's simple, but it's dark. There's like thrones, black thrones. There's candles. There's always like red, black, white lighting. I love it. Frames, very architectural. Her guitarist is amazing here. Her band is amazing in this era. But I don't know if she kept it.
She let it just be her voice. She was singing.
Yeah.
She wasn't just dancing.
Choreography.
Yeah.
Only like a couple of the performances had like flames and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was just like very stripped down. And this was the lead single. Like you have to think about it. Like the last album was Umbrella, Please Don't Stop the Music, Disturbia, Shut Up and Drive. These are all very upbeat, fast songs. And we're doing a complete 180 to this. Right.
And that's where I think some artists are afraid to do. But she wasn't. She just said, listen, we're going to tone it down. Let me do what I do best. Let me hit it from here.
And maybe from a commercial standpoint, maybe it didn't pay off. It was only number 9, not what they were expecting, but still good, like top 10.
Yeah.
Very successful throughout Europe. And I think that maybe is not her signature hit, but I think that was an important point for her because it saw that her risk did pay off to a sense, and that gave her the confidence to continue to reinvent and take those future risks with Loud, going full EDM in the future with Calvin, pivoting to beauty. Yeah. Like, would she have the confidence to do Fenty Beauty and Fenty Skin if she didn't take those risks in her musical career and take those bets on herself?
Maybe. Gotta tune down for a minute. She was the evolution, like what she was doing and what she is now. Yes, I know she's doing makeup, whatever, but like when she comes back with this new music, we're gonna see like the new Rihanna, the mother Rihanna, the makeup connoisseur Rihanna, the businesswoman. We're gonna see different versions of Rihanna, and then here we just see someone who maybe she wasn't going through this, but the metaphor, like suicide or whatever, and now we're seeing this grandeur Rihanna where she's like all put together. And yes, we are seeing her as perfect, but she maybe not be perfect, but she's still, going through some things that is not related back to this way of thinking. So she has gone out of that. Yeah. I don't know, people. I want to hear, listen, if you have thoughts about this,
let us know.
Thoughts about the lyrics? Let us know. Like, really, like, we want to talk about what are they trying to say to us? What are they trying to get behind the lyrics?
Also, I want to say, I love that even though it was a risk, like I know the label probably wasn't thrilled about it. They still pulled out all the stops. She was still on every show promoting.
Yeah.
They did an album launch party. Remember those? Like people don't do album launch parties anymore. They just do like maybe a Spotify listening party or something with fans. But like this was like a whole concert sponsored by Best Buy. It was the Rated R launch party. It was like a whole concert, interviews and everything. Ellen, that's what you did. You went on Oprah, you went on Ellen. That's what you did. You went on the morning shows. Like she did every stop. Like there was a lot of interviews that we had to watch, like at least 20.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. Like, no, this level of work is not seen anymore. And, you know, I think...
Not even work. I just think people are working on the wrong things. There's no rollout.
That's what I'm saying. There's no work. They just put out a single and that's it. You sit at home and do nothing.
They put a single and they burn out. They put a single and they burn out. People don't make an album anymore.
And is it because the people? I mean, we would love to have an artist here, Lizzo. Anybody to come and talk to us about what's going on? Is it the label that are not putting money behind y'all? What is it?
Definitely
what is
the
it?
Labels. They don't invest in A&R. They don't invest in artist development. A&R is a lost art.
Something is happening that is making these people not be. I'm not going to degrade their work because I think some people are doing an amazing job. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
But what is happening that is getting you to the next level of A-lists? I just think not necessarily like fame. I don't care about what you do, the Met Gala, whatever. Art. I want you to put out amazing things we can relate to.
Yeah. I just think they don't see the financial incentive of like physical marketing anymore. They think which I completely understand. I think putting an ad in a newspaper is useless these days.
Yeah,
but I still think there's value in going on morning shows and doing radio interviews.
Yeah.
And doing album launch parties. I think those are valuable techniques and tools.
Something, please. We have heard our own opinions, right? We have looked at the lyrics. What are your final thoughts on Rihanna? Russian Roulette.
My final thoughts, I would say, I don't know what would beat this. But I'm going to say it's her most artistically daring song.
Maybe the new music that she's going to put out. She's going to be like...
Well, Lift Me Up was also artistically daring because it was surprising that she did a comeback with a ballad. Like, no one see that coming. Again, she could have done Goo Goo Gone Bad 2.0, but she took a risk, and I respect her for that. It reminds me of when Madonna did Lift the Tail. I'm going to keep drawing comparisons between them because they're not artists that you would think would do well with ballads. They're very dance pop oriented, but they will do a 180 and release a ballad and it will be a hit and they will slay every time. And they will not do what's expected of them. When someone thinks they got the next move, they're 3 steps ahead and they'll do something completely different. I don't know if it was the right choice for the lead single, but again, I respect her for that. This was her rock era. I need her to do it again. All the photo shoots were very Mother. That's what I have in my notes. It was Vogue. Again, go check out the Vogue Italia 2009, photographed by Stephen Klein. Imagine dropping this body of work 5 years into your career at 22. She said, let me take my neck off of the dance pop scene and let me go into this. And then 6 months later, I'm going to come back and I'm going to hog the charts again. And you're not going to hear from me with Loud. You're going to be sick of me. Rated R, it was a necessary step in Rihanna's legacy. Whether it was her most commercially successful or not, I don't think Loud or Talk That Talk would have been as impactful than with the 180 of Rated R. If she just did like Go 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 Bad, Loud, Talk That Talk, I think people would have been saturated. It's kind of like she needed to pivot. So then people would miss that other side of Rihanna. Like, you know what I mean? Like you said, she's getting different facets of Rihanna. And so when she senses that, or even she's bored, she always says like, I get bored quickly. Or when she senses that people are getting bored with this type of Rihanna, that one takes a step back and we're going to put up this Rihanna. And so people are always interested in her through this. And I think the album was a cathartic process for her. And you can see that in the lyrics of each song. And I'm glad that she healed internally to move on and keep giving us pop culture moments to become the legend that she is today. People don't do rollouts anymore. Website countdowns, radio premieres, interviews, CD signings, album launch parties, going on shows like The X Factor. Rihanna is the hit maker of our generation.
Oh, that was all that. Okay. Can you see my
a lot of points?
I think this song was outside the box, and although not that many people, well, maybe people know it, but I didn't really know it. I think we're aware of it. We knew she was there, but we don't really know it. And again, I don't think people were ready to listen to that level of awareness yet. It was the early 2000s, so I don't think people were really there to listen to
we
that.
were bubbling up.
But the meaning and story itself, this was worth knowing, getting to know her pen. As someone who is very much into lyrics and meaning, I love that shit. This song had a meaning that is very relevant to today's society and impacted people that as much as it does now, right? I mostly think the reason why this song was so controversial was due to her ability to talk about a matter that all the time many people do not care for exactly. They still were able to pull the trigger on this record, right? They pulled the trigger on this record. They took a chance. I'm not going to say they took a chance, and it worked okay. And unfortunately, it was not as successful as others, but it was still important to talk about. And I think the label, maybe they did like it. They were like, okay, I think something we can talk about, something we can get behind. Moral of the story, we need to start listening to this beautiful artist who were giving us tremendous stories and not let their experience overshadow the metaphor intended by the artist. So yeah, I think the song is still very much relevant today. And I want people to take perhaps, don't take it literal. Don't pull the trigger. Maybe read into what she's trying to say and see how Rihanna has survived it. And you can too. Okay?
Yeah. The most rewarding thing from this podcast is I look at songs differently now because I actually read the lyrics. Sometimes you just sing along and whatever.
Exactly.
What I like about
that comes with age, right? Like you're able to read into the experiences and what you're going through. And when you were young, you're just singing and bopping and dancing, and you don't care. I mean, I know I didn't. I just sang.
I was like, "Come on, rude boy," and I'm like, "He's a rude boy." I don't know what she's talking about.
Exactly.
Giddy up. I mean, I'm like, okay, it's like my rocking horse.
Exactly. So yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for listening.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time. 1, 2, 3.
On PenPop.